Alrighty guys, we're back for Mono Red Midrange, and this is a Final Fantasy Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. This is technically a Choco-Comet build. We got all four of them packed in here. X and double red, sorcery speed, deals X damage to any target, and then also create a 2/2 green bird creature token with, whenever a land you control enters, this token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Cool stuff. We're going to be pairing this with PuPu UFO. It's a 2-mana 0/4 artifact creature with flying. You can tap it, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Nice. Now for 3 mana until end of turn, this creature's base power becomes equal to the number of towns you control, which honestly won't be too high in this build, but you never know. We might be able to swing in the air for 2 or 3 some games. More new cards, we have 3 Zell. It's a 3 mana, 0/3 legendary creature. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. So Zell gets +1/+0 for each land you control, which could be pretty significant in that mid game, huh? At the beginning of your end step, return a land you control to its owner's hand. So you're not actually getting significant ramp out of Zell as you're returning stuff back to your hand, but still a really neat card and lets us recast land like Adventures in, which is a land that when it enters, you just gain 2 life, and then it taps for a colorless, which life gain in mono red could be pretty significant, huh? It also could help us bounce Lindblum back if we had to play Lindblum early as a land. Maybe we could bounce this back to hand and use the adventure side before replaying it as a land too. Speaking of the mana base, guys, we also have Rocky Roads over here. Enters tapped unless you control a mount or vehicle. So it'll enter tapped often, but we do have vehicles in here and ways to generate vehicles too. Has that bottom ability for 1 and a red. You can tap it, sack it, create a 1/1 colorless pilot with the pilot ability that I'm not going to read right now. So the vehicles that we have packed in, we have a couple Cultivators Caravan. It's a 3 mana 5/5 crew for 3 vehicle. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Cool stuff. We have the Regalia. It's a 4 mana 4/4 crew for 1 vehicle with haste. This is a legendary vehicle, by the way. Whenever the Regalia attacks, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Neat. We also have Magmatic Galleon in here. Not going to take the time to go over it. That's just the last vehicle. Then ways to generate vehicles with Chandra Spark Hunter, making the cut as a 2 of. Now at the beginning of combat on your turn, you choose up to 1 target vehicle you control. Until end of turn, it becomes an artifact creature and gains haste. Has a +2 ability. You may sacrifice an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card. A 0 ability where you create a 3/2 colorless vehicle with crew for 1. And a -7 ability where you get an emblem whenever an artifact you control enters. This emblem deals 3 damage to any target. We're not really looking at this for the -7. We're really looking at those top 2 abilities and the passive ability on the Chandra. Speaking of planeswalkers, we have Koth, Fire of Resistance. With that +2, we get to search for a basic mountain, reveal it, put it into our hand. -3 acting as a little bit of removal based on the number of mountains you control. And -7, you get an emblem with, whenever a mountain you control enters, this emblem deals 4 damage to any target. And maybe you're bouncing mountains back to your hand with the Zell to recast them for that -7, huh? So I don't think it's going to be unheard of to try to go for the -7 on Koth. More planeswalkers. We have a couple Chandra Hope's Beacon here on the top end. Not going to take the time to go over it right now. A similar concept with Season of the Bold, just chilling on the top end. It's been out for a little while. Not going to take the time to read it. And we have more cards draw packed in with Demand Answers. We have Emergency Board Wipe, Slagstorm, make the cut as a 3 of. And sometimes in a deck list like this, you're going to activate the bottom ability to try to clean up the game. Where it deals 3 damage to each player. Just remember, it's each player, including yourself. Now, early removal to all 4 Torch the Tower should be pretty good in here. Easy to bargain, I would say. And some graveyard hate with a couple Soul Guide Lanterns. Over in the honorable mentions, guys, Ghost Vacuum can make the cut instead of the Soul Guide Lantern. The thing is, if you're not up against something that needs the graveyard hate, we don't have a lot of creatures to actually sweep up with the Ghost Vacuum in our build. Not a lot of top end and stuff that we really care to sweep up. So at the very least, Soul Guide Lantern can trade itself out with the bottom ability. 1, you can tap it, sack it, draw a card. Ghost Vacuum doesn't have anything like that. So yeah, not this time around, huh? Dragon Master Outcast. If there was ever a deck list that was going to get to 6 mana, hopefully it's this deck list. But without reasonable ways to give haste to the dragons, I decided not to this time. The Sabo Tender could have been cool, but technically, even though it's a Choco-Comet deck list, it's not really a Mono Red Landfall deck list. It's just not what the deck list is trying to do this time around, but could have been neat maybe as a 1 or 2 of. Looks like I have a Brotherhood's End over here too. If you like Brotherhood's End more than Slagstorm, then go for it. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I think it's going to be pretty good, man. I think it's a little bit out there, right? It's a little different as far as Mono Red Midrange. You guys can see why I didn't call it Big Red, right? There's not like a whole lot of top end. We're really trying to do the mid-range thing. Well, Big Red's trying to do the mid-range thing too, but you guys know what I mean. Yeah, we go first. We'll give it a shot. Since we go first, I'm going to just pretend that we don't need early removal. You never know, right? We could be safe for a little bit of time here. And I am going to go ahead and get Lindblum down. So that way it doesn't hold us up on 3 if we don't see any mana off the top. We have a ton of mana packed in though, so. Swift Spear. Uh-oh. Alright, well, we could wait on the Choco-Comet then instead of just X's 0. We can try for an X's 2. After some ramp with the Caravan. Excuse me, guys. Oh my goodness. Now, I'll curve out. It's fine, guys. Everything's fine. X's 0 on the Comet. Totally safe. Corey Steel Cutter. Okay. I mean, that could have been a much worse turn, too, for us. All right, another Choco-Comet. So Zell's interesting here. But I'm pretty sure we do want to ramp with the Caravan and make sure we actually use the Comet as removal. Yeah, we'll ramp with the Caravan. And I suppose save an emergency blocker because we are doing the mid-range thing, not the aggressive thing. But boy, it's tempting to swing, huh? Bolt Wave. And probably powering up the cutter here. Bolt Wave number 2. They still have mana open. Okay, I'll try to block the token, I suppose. Or we could try to chump. I'll try to chump. Either way, they want to put a Monstrous Rage onto the Swift Spear, probably. Okay, I'll block the token. Boy, that's always a tough decision, huh? Oh, well, we took out the token, but it'll just power up next turn, too. We do have X's 3 on the Choco-Comet, which does get it around, like, a Monstrous Rage being used as protection, which would be super weird, right? I think they would have maximized damage last turn. So at that point, too... Close to death already, huh? Yeah, we'll max this out, X's 3. Make sure that we do get around a weird protection spell. Alright. And we're not doing terrible, right? We're not seeing any Slagstorms or our Torch the Tower. Really? Wait a minute, bro. What was their hand? We're at 8. What? I would have loved to play that out because, you know, we have all of the ins in here. That could be pretty significant life gain, especially if we're bouncing it back with Zell. And playing it as an extra land every turn. That's pretty crazy. Did they only have land in hand? Like, I really wish we could just flip the opponent's hand over at the end of matches. That'd be cool. That'll be a feature that is never added, though, right? But something that should seriously be added is flipping our own deck list over, right? Seeing what's in there, seeing how it was ordered, or seeing how far away we were from the combo or something. There's a Slagstorm. I'd say that's pretty important when the opponent goes first. And there's the Adventurers in, too. Okay, yeah. Sweet. Let's give it a shot. Boros. Gasp. Okay, Chandra. Okay. Hope's Beacon. Yeah, I'll start with some life gain, I suppose. We don't give them any information then when we play that. They have no idea what they're up against. Yeah, Slagstorm should be really good against Go Wide Boros. Also, all 4 torch the towers for a very good reason, huh? It's super important to remove those early, like, Heartfire heroes and everything. We got lucky in the last game for real. Okay, just a frontliner. Hey, get the PuPu UFO down. And the UFO doesn't get hit by Slagstorm, which is epic. They call Human on Cavern. They go Warden. I wonder, did they just draw that? Or were they playing around a board wipe? I don't really know, because they had an open mana last turn, right? So maybe they just found the Warden off the top. They do activate the clue here, too. We're going to be very patient with this Slagstorm, guys. Okay, Soul Guide Lantern. Alright. I suppose we can play the Lantern, too. We don't need to worry about exiling from a grave, but getting it down and established could be pretty important. Okie dokies. That's that. Pass it on back. We have some pretty significant ramp here with the UFO. Especially next turn, too, if we see mountains off the top. We could ramp right into the Hope's Beacon, right? That's actually pretty crazy. We definitely take these blocks, regardless of what they plan on boosting in hand. But also, it looks like I guess we'll block the biggest things and not worry about the UFOs dying, right? Okay, now that we blocked, we can successfully ramp. Cool. We could also draw on the Soul Guide Lantern this turn. Now that we have open mana, we could. It's kind of like paying 2 mana just to trade out this card. Excuse me, guys. I apologize for clearing my throat. In your ear 2 times this video already. My goodness. Okay, Mural. Okay, yeah, we'll draw. We'll draw here. Mural gets around the Slagstorm. Uh-oh, Slagstorm number 2. Hey, Magmatic Galleon's pretty good, though. So, we don't have the 6th mana, so we can't ramp into the Hope's Beacon. That would have been pretty good, too. I think we'll keep being patient with the Slagstorm. Magmatic Galleon helps us ramp into Chandra next turn. And getting rid of Mural's pretty darn good, I would say. Okay. UFOs are blockers. What you got for me, opponent? 5th mana. Wow, they probably don't like seeing that. Although seeing their 4th was great to get the Mural down. So probably another full swing, right? To try to squeeze one through. Since it was no trick last turn, that doesn't mean that there isn't a trick this turn, because they just opted for actually playing the Mural then, is the thing. It doesn't mean we don't take the blocks, though. Down to 19. Another Mural. Wow, that's pretty good. Okay. I wonder if we go -4 on Chandra, take out the Warden and the Mural, and then just be very patient with the Slagstorms. Could double down on Slagstorm too. We don't have to worry about Mural, I guess. We could still just pop everything else on the ground. I think we can keep Chandra alive, though. Yeah, -4 on Chandra. Slagstorms are kind of just chilling. Not 100% necessary right now. Okay, treasure off the Galleon. Nice. That's pretty good. And then that's that. UFOs are blockers. So popping the treasure for the demand answers is actually pretty good. More mana for the opponent, guys. They officially have more mana than us. I'd call that pretty unlucky. Because I'm pretty sure they do not want 6 mana on the board. But we've had clean removal for these murals, which is really nice. Because that's probably their top end too, so we're relatively safe until they can effectively go wider. But then once they do go wide, we have the Slagstorms ready. UFOs are just really good blockers in this scenario too. No Monstrous Rage or anything from the opponent. It's going to be Case of the Gateway Express to take out the 0-2 UFO. That's pretty good. That's definitely something. Oh, Gleeful Demolition. There we go. But now Slagstorm is ready. I'd rather, at first we want to copy demand answers off the Chandra before we do the Slagstorm, though. Zell's pretty good. I like the Zell here. It'll be a 5-3. All right, first we start with demand answers. Sacrifice an artifact. Sacrifice the treasure. Making sure we didn't need that extra mana, right? But no, we don't. Not this turn. All right. Hand nice and stocked up. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff. And then I suppose the other demand answers is not terrible off the +2 on the Chandra. We also have Caravan, actually, +2 than Slagstorm. That might be a little better, because establishing another ramp piece. Red. Slagstorm. 3 damage to each creature. Another treasure token off the Galleon. Holy cow, dude. No attacks. End turn. Holy cow. Alright, let's see the Zell actually do something here, too. Alright, they see a frontliner off the top. That's pretty decent. It's something, but now they need card draw of their own, right? Alright, I don't mind the mountain. +2 on the Chandra is fine. Chandra Spark Hunter is fine. There's a lot to do here, guys. There really is. At the end, we're going to bounce the adventures in so we can start gaining life. Zell being a 6-3 is pretty sick. I think we'll start swinging with the Galleon. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we start swinging with, though. Start pushing some damage through, though. For sure. I guess getting the Spark Hunter down also could have been pretty good here. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's go demand answers again before doing anything on the Chandra. We just have so many options, guys. And as long as we play it safe. Ooh, Adventures in. Okay, Rocky Roads. So I'll play the Adventures in as our extra land. And then I suppose we can go plus on the Chandra. And I suppose we can use the 4 to get the Spark Hunter down. I guess. Okay, good game, opponent. Good game. There was just so much value. And I was going to completely play it out too, because I guess with all their mana, you really never know. If they draw off the top and they see something that actually restocks their hand effectively, which I don't know what it could be in Boros Go Wide, since their board state is empty, right? The only thing I can think of is the Convoke Knight on the top end, which they kind of need to convoke to see things off the top, right? So, when their board state's empty, we're keeping our hand stocked. We're going to go +2 on the Chandra and just discard a mountain. Zell at that point was a 7-3-2, but we were about to bounce in Adventures in. So it was going to go back down to 6 until next turn when we played 2 lands out of our hand. Yeah, that was just crazy value, man. The cool stuff. The UFOs holding up every single swing was pretty brutal, and then they flooded a little bit too, so excuse me, guys. Apparently, I'm losing my voice for this video. Oh, dear. All right. We go first. Awesome. Torch the tower. That should come in handy. In both of those first games, Torch the tower would have been excellent. So, yeah, we'll keep it. And I don't think we need to worry about a turn 1 Torch the tower. I'm more concerned about getting PuPu UFO down on turn 2. We can get Rocky Roads down without any worries. Okay, Sanctifier. Well, that would have been a good hit for the Torch the tower, huh? That's okay. It's not incredibly necessary to pick up right away. Okay, Deep Cavern Bat. I guess they take the Torch the tower, but it doesn't really matter because Choco-Comet can still go X's 1 to pop the bat before anything. It does cost 3 mana, but at least we get a token out of it too. Another PuPu UFO. Nice. You like to see it. Right, so I'll just keep the UFO open for their turn. We'll just go X's 1 on the Comet. Yeah, that's actually pretty sick because we can play the extra mountain, then use the Torch the tower too. Number 1, Comet being sorcerer speed, we want to do it now. All right. Pass it back. Yeah, I wonder how many scenarios there's actually going to be where we have to activate the bottom ability on UFO to push the excess damage through. Okay, Fable Passage. Maybe another Deep Cavern Bat. It is going to be another Deep Cavern Bat. Okay. I guess we let them... I don't really know. I guess we activate Torch the tower. I don't know, man. I guess we really don't want them to choose between the two, and getting rid of the second Deep Cavern Bat is pretty good, I would say. We have Choco-Comet for 2 next turn to pop the Sanctifier. Also, the Exile is really good, isn't it? Oh, Koth off the top. Dude, okay. Yeah. Koth should be a real problem for the opponent once we get the -7, which could easily happen here. And we might as well play the 5th mana now. Now I'll wait for their turn with the UFO, right? Unless they... No, I'll do it now. Okay. I was going to say, do we need this to become a 3-2 on their turn? Probably not. I'd rather make sure we have both of these up as defenders in case, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a scenario where we don't want to be too greedy about just, like, playing lands on the opponent's turn or something, you know? I'm not sure what that scenario looks like right now, though. Okay, Channeler goes up to 3-2. Can it get above the Choco-Comet is the question. A 3rd Deep Cavern Bat, guys. Holy cow. Okay. All right, Choco-Comet is out of here, which is bad news. Maybe we won't be able to get this Koth to -7, but we'll see. A Slagstorm off the top would be really good. It's a mountain. Maybe we should go -3 on the Koth, get the Choco-Comet back. Raise the Past is just so likely what we're up against. -3, get the Choco-Comet. X is 3 on the Comet, pop the Channeler. If we just opt for Chump Blocks next turn... Alright, guys. I'm gonna go Greed. How do you feel about that? I'm not 100% certain this is what we want to be doing. But I'm going to go greed here. Also, this is activate only as a sorcery, which I'm going to do to make sure we have enough blockers to protect the Koth. Okie dokies. And we have another mountain in hand, but we kind of want to save it. Again, no swings. I want to protect the Koth at all costs. That includes when they find multiple removal spells. Zoraline. Nice. Okay. Okay, this Essence Channeler is gonna be a problem. There's good news here, though. They did not pay life on the caves, so the Channeler doesn't go into the air. So maybe we get to keep one of the PuPu UFOs around. They do pay for the Deep Cavern back from the grave. They're just gonna look at a mountain here, luckily, but I don't know who this is leaning towards, as their Channeler is going to start to run away with this. 6-5 is pretty hard to deal with. A Magmatic Galleon does deal with it. And then they paid life on the Zoraline, so they do get the Channeler into the air. Channeler is a 7-6 now. Okay. If we see land off the top, we want to save this mountain, right? After the -7. Some tough decisions here. Like, I don't know if the greed was worth it, but we are about to get an emblem, and that emblem could do a lot. Zell. Okay. 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 That's good. That's really good, right? I think we have to get rid of the Zoraline. If we go UFO, Zell bouncing mountains back is crazy business. Okay, so I think we pop the Deep Cavern Bat with the Choco-Comet. Is that what we do? X's 3 would cost 5 mana. We won't get the Zell down. Maybe we do get the Zell down. They have a lot of they have a lot of swings in the air, including the Channeler. So I think Koth is going to die, not giving us any more mountains from the build. So X is 3 on the Comet. Yeah, that's a tough decision, because if we're not getting any more mountains off the Koth, we might just miss mountains and then the emblem is useless, right? So we'll see, we'll see. I think a full swing at the Koth in the air is very likely next turn. So that's why it was very tempting to establish Zell for the turn, start bouncing the mountains back and using those. Aerith, all right. All right, guys. Yeah, this one, hopefully I thought it through well enough for you guys, for sure. Aerith is good, and so is the Channeler. Everything about their board state is good. Again, they did not pay life on the caves, keeping the Channeler on the ground. So we do have the block in the air and the chump on the ground here. And we will chump with, I suppose, the pilot, since we don't have any vehicles. So keeping Koth around is pretty significant. Gotta pop that Aerith as soon as possible. All right. Ass is back. It's a mountain. I grab another mountain. Yeah, we could double down on the Channeler. They put all their eggs onto a Deep Cavern Bat basket then. The Channeler is just a problem in general. I'm pretty sure we have to pop Aerith. Distributes to legendary creatures, so... Hey, good game, opponent. Good game. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I understand that one. I would have loved to play it out, but people have been very hasty recently. So, Mountain, pop the Aerith, and then we had PuPu UFO to play the extra mountain, but then also we were about to play Zell to play the extra mountain anyways. Then Zell could have bounced the mountain back. Then on their turn, we could have used PuPu UFO to drop the mountain, right? So there's a There's a line here, dude. For real. Once we got the emblem with the Koth, I mean, that's just crazy. Crazy business. Yeah, pop the Aerith, drop the Zell, drop the Mountain, pop the Bat. Yeah, as long as we could clear up the rest of their creatures, yeah, then on their turn, or at the end of our turn, Zell passes the Mountain back to our hand. On their turn, drop the PuPu UFO ability, pop the Sanctifier, or whatever they top deck to, or if they power it up like Restless Fortress as well. Crazy business, man. Holy cow. We're 30 minutes in. Let's go ahead. Let's push it just one more game, win or lose. I'm very satisfied with how the deck list has performed. It kind of feels like we got a little lucky in some of those, but also just really just pure value happening as well. So I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be one of those ones more testing required, probably. We go first. Let's give it a shot. 26 mana in here, guys. It should be all too easy to find the third and the fourth for the Koth eventually. All right. Keep the Torch the Tower open. It's going to be Scry. They got the VV sleeves. They keep one on top. PuPu UFO. So based on the hand, I guess I'm going to get Soul Guide Lantern down and keep Torch the Tower open. How do you guys feel about that, though? Nah, never mind. It's fine. I was going to say, if we're up against Izzet or a Steel Cutter, then it would be nice to have the Torch the Tower open. But at the same time, maybe we just establish the creature. It is a 0/4. It blocks pretty well. In the air, too, it blocks Slick Shot Show Off relatively okay. All right, mana off the top. Like I said, 26 in here, so there's still 24 land packed in. We should be able to find it in the next couple turns. We don't want to miss too many turns without our third. I know that much, not with this hand. But we could always draw off the Soul Guide, too. Into the Flood Mob, bounces the PuPu UFO. Hey, third mana. Hi. Hello. Very nice. Right on time. All right. I'm totally fine getting the Zell down, bounce the adventures in. All right, sweet. Let's see what they do here. Third mana. Is it going to be a VV turn? It is going to be a VV turn. Okay. So we won't get to play an extra mana for the turn, unfortunately, but we could go Soul Guide Lantern, pop it, or Torch the Tower, hit the VV, which is pretty good. That's like, actually, that's exactly what we do, isn't it? Yeah, we don't want to pop the PuPu UFO. Yep, that's exactly what we do, because we still have another Torch the Tower open then, too. I don't think they care about their grave. Okay, bargain it on up. Target. Sacrifice. Cultivator's Caravan. If we're going to miss mana underneath this too, I think I do want to keep the Caravan around. Nah, I'll send it. I'll send it. I do want the fourth for the Koth, and that could be the fourth, but with 26 mana in here, I don't know. And there's probably, we could probably draw better than the Caravan too. All right. We'll see if we get to keep Zell around too, because if they pop the Zell, then we still will have to wait a couple turns for the Koth. But seeing like an untapped source, playing extra land off the Zell, and then getting Koth down and grabbing land off of that, should be pretty decent. Emberheart Challenger. All right, they can easily get it above the Torch the Tower. Does that mean we try? Oh, it's just kind of skipping around here. All right, we'll try it. Wow, good hit. Really good hit for us, man. It's a Koth off the top. Maybe I should have kept the Caravan. Okay, well, go back up to 26 here. And we do have X is 1 on the Comet, which could be pretty good. Swing for 3. I guess we'll go X's 1 on the Comet. Since we have really nothing else in hand. Getting extra stuff on the board is pretty sick. Like I said, 26 mana for a good reason, bro. We really do not want to miss mana. Maybe I should have kept the Caravan, because that could have been a great play for the turn. And then into the Koth and then start grabbing those mountains. Or Steel Cutter. If we could have gotten Koth down on time, I think this would have been another game where we could have gotten the -7. What do you guys think? I think actually a pretty good chance. I'll block the monk. Yeah. I'll block the monk. Oh, it's a monstrous rage. I will not block the monk. We'll go back down to 20. That's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, torch the tower. Get this down. You think they, we could torch the tower, the otter, and then swing, but if they block, I'd rather keep the torch the tower open anyways. Yeah, I think we swing. They do end up chumping, and then we could maybe torch the tower a second monk when it comes in. Oh, okay. They were thinking about it. They decided not to, so they are going down to 7 here. I'd say that's pretty good news. Now, it's pretty tough to just not do torch the tower, because they could get the prowess above it pretty easy. So we could at least pop the otter before anything else, but we might have a better pot. They might play like a second VV. Nah, I'm going to do it now. I think that's okay. Getting the otter off the board while they're tapped out seems pretty good. How do you guys like the life gain on adventures in with the Zell? Dude, it's so cool, actually. It makes me very happy that we actually got to see this doing the thing. Even though we're not seeing a land here. We're 12 cards in. We've seen 3 mana so far, and we have 26 mana total. So we still have 23 lands packed into the build. The 3rd arrived on time, but we really desperately need the 4th here too. Corey Steel Cutter does power up the other monk. You know, they're going to keep it on the same one so they can get around the PuPu UFO block, which I'd say could be a worthwhile block, but I'll keep it. There's better blocks in its future, right? Going down to 17, we're probably still pretty safe. Hey, we got the 4th mana. Let's go, guys. All right. Oh, man. Okay, all right. We get to play the extra land, but we could also do it as a surprise off the PuPu UFO. Probably not, though. We want to save that as a blocker. And then Koth will come down. Yeah, we are forcing a block here, which is good news. Maybe I should have done it as a surprise, because maybe we could have cheesed this through if they decided not to block or something. Down to 3. Koth comes down. Koth should be a huge problem for them. You know what? -3 on Koth. Let's just get rid of their creature. I mean, sure, Corey Steel Cutter will power up another one. Yeah, GG opponent. Holy cow, guys. Holy cow. I mean, the value that we're pulling off here is really something significant. Did we gain like 10 life off the adventurers in this game? It kind of feels like it. All right, dude, let's end on a high note, taking down Corey Steel Cutter. Kind of feels like maybe we got a little lucky in a lot of those games. I don't know. I don't know, guys. Oh my goodness. Hey, be careful with crafting deck lists. Rotation is around the corner. It'll be here before you know it, right? So be careful with crafting cards. We are going to be losing Koth and Chandra Hope's Beacon, and that breaks my heart, dude, because I love both of these planeswalkers. Koth really doing the thing today. And again, if we would have found our 4th mana on time in that last game, I think that was a serious thing. That could have easily been the game where we got -7 again, and that would have been crazy to pull off 2 times today. But we found our 4th mana a little bit late, and as you saw, it didn't matter too much. And Zell just pushing in that extra damage every time we were able to swing with it. The Choco-Comet bird pushing in the extra damage at the end too. Forcing a block and everything. That's just crazy business. Losing Chandra Hope's Beacon breaks my heart too, because it's such a nice big red card, but then also Mono Red Midrange. Big red and Mono Red Midrange. I'm sorry, guys, words are hard. Holy cow. They're pretty much the same thing, right? Big red, Mono Red Midrange. You know, 2 peas in the pod, right? But I called this one mid-range because we don't have like an excessive amount of big things on the top end. And then I call big red things that have a lot of top end. We don't really have a top end. We have this lovely curve, this lovely mid-range curve, right? We're going up over the 2 drops, but not actually, because Choco-Comet, you know, is a 3 drop, 4 drop, 5 drop, and onwards as the X continues to grow. Anyways, Chandra Hope's Beacon with that top ability, copying the instant or sorcery, the first one that you play, right? So Choco-Comet getting copied, if you do X is 5 to their face or something, and it copies that, another 5 to their face, I mean, that should clean up a game, especially if you're successfully swinging with Zell, or maybe getting some swings through with your vehicles. You're looking at like the crew for 3 on Cultivator's Caravan. Well, that's a pretty steep crew cost, right? But all you really need is an early bird from the Choco-Comet and playing a land on the same turn. Now it's a 3/2. Now you can power up your Caravan, swing for 5, right? Or Rocky Road's making the cut as a 2 of 2. Just having the extra pilot in here easily crews up the Caravan. So I like having the small vehicle theme in here. We only got 4 vehicles between Caravan, Regalia, and Magmatic Galleon. But Chandra generating the vehicles too and working well with them, and then also helping us trade out cards or trade out artifacts on the board. There's going to be games where you go +2, and PuPu UFO has already done all the blocking required for the game. So you just trade it out to draw a card, right? So that's not terrible at all. I honestly, though, keeping the UFO on the board seems a lot more beneficial than trading out, but maybe you're trying to find more ways to close up the game too. Speaking of close up the game, you guys can definitely see why I opted for Slagstorm instead of Brotherhood's End, because there are going to be plenty of games where we actually do just want to close up the game by doing 3 damage to each player, and it probably won't kill us, especially since we have a little bit of life gain packed in with the adventurers in. There might be moments where you're okay copying the Slagstorm with the Chandra's passive and doing 6 damage to each player, and at that point in the game, you might actually have more life than the opponent. So yeah, this is cool, man. I'll tell you what, all 4 torch the tower for a very good reason. And in this deck list too, yeah, you're not going to be terribly sad to bargain away a PuPu UFO. I guess a little sad. You really don't want to lose the UFO, but this is also one of those deck lists too where you really want to keep your hand nice and stocked up. Make sure you have the extra mana slamming into your hand. So I could see the 3rd demand answers too. The double Soul Guide Lantern didn't come in handy today, but I'm seeing so much Reanimator, it's not even funny, bro. I don't know where it was today. I don't know. Maybe they ranked up or something. but I am like positive that Soul Guide Lantern will help out. And guys, I'm recording this before any ban announcements too. So if you can't tell, Monstrous Rage was still in some of those games. We don't know what's actually getting banned. A lot of people think it's going to be Monstrous Rage. We'll see, right? But either way, yeah, all this was recorded before the ban announcement. We'll see what actually gets hit. But you never know. Maybe there's a ban announcement that ruins some of those graveyard strategies. Just keep an eye on the deck list like that, right? If it does end up ruining a lot of graveyard strategies that you're seeing, then you probably don't want Soul Guide Lantern in here. But you probably want to replace it with another artifact, especially for the bargain. So maybe like Candy Trail or something. Candy Trail here for even more life gain in the deck list, right? Trades out. Scry 2 is really good too. Scry those land on top for that last game. Holy cow. Anyways. What else, guys? Magmatic Galleon's ability here. When it enters 5 damage to creature an opponent controls, whenever one or more creatures your opponents control are dealt excess non-combat damage, create a treasure token. That's actually pretty significant because it's really easy to do excess damage when you have X spells in the deck list. So instead of popping Deep Cavern Bat for X is 1, you pop it for X is 2. You get your birdie, and you get a treasure token off the Galleon, so you can really see where the value starts to come into play. Regalia is really cool because it's not like reveal the top 6 cards, play a land. You'd probably find a land if it was the top 6 cards. First of all, you'd have to get pretty unlucky, but it is just straight up reveal cards off the top until you reveal a land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, right? So if you're swinging with the Regalia and a Zell, then, or with some of your birdies too, then that extra land off the Regalia will boost the Zell and the birdies, and that could be a pretty deadly swing all of a sudden. There is the problem with Slagstorm picking up your own creatures, but I don't know if that's really a problem, right? It's just like, if it's come down to that point where you're considering popping a birdie and a Zell with your Slagstorm, then you probably really desperately need to. So you can go ahead and start with a swing, see if they block, maybe you can cheese some damage through, and then wipe the board off the Slagstorm. But at that point too, they'd probably be expecting the board wipe, so they probably would have some good blocks. If there were some good blocks, then maybe you wouldn't have to Slagstorm. Maybe you could just torch the tower or something instead and still survive long enough for them to restock the board and then Slagstorm later. I don't know. That's, mid-range problems, Now, Season of the Bold I didn't go over earlier. It's a 5-mana sorcery, and you have 5 paw marks worth of modes. You may choose the same mode more than once. Now, in a deck list like this, I don't think it's going to be unheard of to go 5 mana, top 5 paw marks onto create a tap treasure token, because then next turn you can use all those treasures for an even larger Choco-Comet, which is kind of like one of the main win conditions, right? As we're poking the opponent's face with everything else that's going on, or slamming through with Zell a few times, still trying to go like X's 8 on the Choco-Comet, after ramping 5 treasures. That's actually pretty significant. And like I said, one of the main win conditions, or you don't even need to go that large. Maybe you do have Chandra Hope's Beacon on the board to copy the Choco-Comet for even more damage to their face. Just really neat stuff. And then also, Season of the Bold is another way to see more things off the top, but it's not card draw. It doesn't go into your hand. So, cards like PuPu UFO, if you're exiling things with the Season of the Bold, the 2 paw marks worth is exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until end of your next turn, you may play them. So they're not in your hand, so you can't do extra land with the PuPu UFO. However, Zell says you may play an additional land on each of your turns. It does not specify from your hand, so you can play extra lands from exile off the Season of Bold. And also the bottom ability can help you clean up bigger creatures too. Season of the Bold is a really interesting one that I've been keeping my eye on, and we've been trying it in certain big red builds, this time making the cut in Mono Red Midrange. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? I don't really have much else to say here. I really do like all the different utility lands over in the mana base for sure. Lindblum, did we get to do the adventure at all today? I don't think so. Yeah, the adventure will help you out sometimes. And then it is pretty cool that if you have to play Lindblum early, then there's still a possibility of later on bouncing it back with Zell, using the adventure, then playing it as a land. That's really neat to me. There's just so many neat synergies and so much value packed in. Still more testing required because it kind of feels like we got a little lucky today too. And then, like I said, be very careful about crafting anything right now. Just keep your eye on rotation. How do we want to check this? I guess Alchemy already rotated, right? So yeah, in this deck list in particular, we're losing Koth, we're losing Chandra. So do not craft them. If anything, go ahead and find not budget replacements, but replacements that aren't rotating maybe. Or just replacements based on your collection too would work, I suppose. It's going to be pretty hard to replace these though. They're kind of a significant part of the deck list, honestly. So I don't know. Let me know what could be good replacements for Chandra Hope's Beacon and Koth. That's tough. We got 6 Planeswalkers here. This is almost Super Friends, right? Well, either way, guys, hey, if you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.